Hello. Hello. Today I am answering an email question that came to me from a client who has stated that they would like some book recommendations on understanding more or getting closer to God. So, welcome. This is a place for learning. Of course, I'm going to answer to the best of my ability. I don't claim to know all the answers. I know the answers that are right for me and what I have done, and I'm happy to share my processes and all the things that I've done and went through and extensively tested and tried in the spiritual realm. And this is the best of my ability. I'm trying to summarize and answer. So, for a little bit of background, the person who wrote, I'm just going to read out one small part of the question, but they have a religious upbringing, so I've obviously kept that in mind when answering this. And the question is, my intuition is coming back stronger than ever. Honestly, I think this is happening on a mass scale. Most people are starting to tap into something. You will see this count very weirded out by all of that is starting to see a bit of a spiritual revival, and that young people don't want to do those things. They actually want to be spiritual. They want to be very disciplined, accountable for their lives. It's very impressive. So the question says, my question to you is, how do I get even closer? What should I study metaphysically or understand our relationship with the universe? Where should I start with this and with astrology as well? Any resources would be greatly appreciated. Of course, thank you so much for your wonderful words and that he loves the videos and the things that I do. And so, for just a bit of background, there is a Catholic background upbringing for this individual. So we're going to keep that in mind. But this applies to everyone if you're trying to figure out where to go next or where to turn. And of course, answers vary, but there are universal truths to everything. So I've chosen 5 books, but I can obviously give more. And please stay tuned because I do want to. I've saying this since last April. I want to upload. I sell like vintage esoteric and spiritual books, and I just haven't done it in like a year. I haven't uploaded anything new, so I'm way behind. But let's begin. First book, and this is the first spiritual book I read that wasn't actually rooted in an Abrahamic religion. This is the first spiritual thing I was exposed to that was not, like part of Christianity or Islam. So, first book, somebody actually, it was in a nightclub. It was so funny. I was working in a nightclub and somebody went, "You have to read this book. It's going to change your life like that." And it was Gary Zukav's The Seat of the Soul. I don't know. This is my original copy. I did a very mini book review on it. If you go to about 2, 3 years ago on my channel, you'll find I've discussed this book already. The Seat of the Soul just sort of opens your mind to how God arranges us and spirit, like animals, everything has its place and order. Not a bad book. I clearly respect and enjoy Gary Zukov because I have soul stories, soul to soul, the heart of the soul, emotional awareness. Emotional awareness is pretty much the key to the universe. So I've got other ones. So I've got Gary Zukov #1, Read the Seat of the Soul. And I've literally just people who've gotten readings from me, I've sent them copies of books just for free. This is one of the books I've sent out more than any other. Okay. The next thing I'm going to say, and funny enough, I don't have it with me and I always have it to hand. So it must be having a bit of a laugh today, is Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Now, I know that A New Earth became extremely popular and like thrusted him and to the world stage when he was on Oprah, and Oprah discussed that book. But The Power of Now is superior, and I'm not saying that like in a competitive, egoistic sense, but and I've read so many, but I've read hundreds of books, if not maybe 1,000 in my lifetime. I've never said this book changed my life. This is the one book that changed my life because it changed me. So get the power of now, realize awareness, how your thoughts work. And years before that, I read a book, I think it's by the Dalai Lama, called How to See Yourself as You Really Are. And there's a Christian ish version. I forget the author, I'm sorry, but the title is pretty much the same. It's How to See Yourself as God Sees You. And you understand, um, this links to the power of now because you are not your thoughts. Like I said something once that kind of got me in trouble at school. I said, "Well, I tell my thoughts what to think and I tell my feelings what to feel, that like I choose not to be offended, I choose to be happy." And people were like, "Oh, you can't help it." And they got like mad and teachers got involved. But years and years and years later, it turns out this is something people say frequently because I was watching a sermon by Reverend Nike a few years ago and he says, "Nothing has power over me. I tell my thoughts what to think, I tell my feelings what to feel." And I do have a Power of Now review also on my channel you can watch. And that book really changed my life because the thoughts and the feelings, you have to understand you're the observer of those things. And there's a difference between the intelligence of your emotions that come from your heart, and there's a difference between the intellect and the mind. Those things are not always the same. So, for example, the way that I see the world, mind produces problems, but not solutions. Okay. Spirituality produces solutions. Like all the things that come from the mind that are man made can be aggressive and affirm a lack of unity. They affirm division, divisiveness. But if you want a solution, you have to transcend that sort of intellectual battle. You're just going to go around in circles forever. So the power of now transformed me because if something would hurt my feelings, I would think, why am I hurt? And then I would dig, 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 and found it had nothing to do with that other person. So I set them free. I set myself free. Beautiful. All right. I'm still not done. I'm still learning and healing, but amazing. Number 3, I can kind of group in a few things. Literally any Neville Goddard book. Okay, so we're doing Faith is Your Fortune. This is probably my favorite. I have 3 in total, and I was very well marked, very well loved. We did an entire series breakdown of every chapter of this book on my Patreon. And there's one left, and it's the last chapter, Tearing Down the Walls of Jericho. So uh, we're going to go over that today. And here's the power of awareness, which I just started. So any Neville Goddard book will teach you what you really are. Okay. One thing I want to say, Neville Goddard, and what I'm going to name next and think after that, it does tend to use a lot of Christian language. And I don't want you to be put off by that, whether you are or are not religious. And the same thing I always say to people on my Patreon, because we're going over one of these books. And I said, I don't know who hates it more, non Christians or Christians, because some people like come from the mind. There's this linear idea. And if you don't fall into that, then you're wrong and you're evil. And they'll say, I use my spiritual discernment. This person's evil. It's like, well, then you're not discerning with the heart. That's not true intelligence. You're just labeling, and you're causing more division. So, but any Neville Goddard book, truly. Another one I would put up there is Dr. Joseph Murphy. They were both mentored by the same rabbi named Abdullah, which people in that circle will know very well. And Reverend Ike was a student of Neville's. I mean, there's so many people that have just done wonderful things in the world, and most of them do not want anything to do with, attaching themselves publicly to these things. But the few that have really gifted us some very profound wisdom of how the world really, really works. So, and in that, I would include Jose Silva. I have a few Jose Silva books. I love them very, very much. He's done amazing things for the world, helping you understand yourself, helping you use your mind. Once you understand that the mind is the most powerful tool in the universe, actually, it's so powerful that what a lot of people in the new age will call like archons or demons, or where people are paranoid about like evil forces, they fear us for what we can do. Okay. So once you understand there's actually nothing to fear, doesn't make you arrogant or proud. You've transcended dualistic thinking. Okay. So speaking of battles of the mind and clashing of things, number 4, everybody on the planet needs to read this. I'm convinced it will be the cause of world peace and a utopia will flourish on the planet. A Course in Miracles. Okay. A Course in Miracles. This is my copy. I bought it 12 years ago. I started it, and then I gave up on day 8 because I didn't really grasp. I didn't grasp it fully. I didn't have the maturity. I clearly failed myself. You don't disappoint anyone. You don't disappoint God. When God reproaches you, it's for your own good. It's done lovingly. But I let myself down. But I've come back. Okay. It inspired me for several reasons. You see, we're going through it on Patreon. It's very well marked, very well loved, but it's 365-day lessons, and you do one lesson per day. So you don't have to do it in a year. When you go join forums and groups, you find I actually was part of a group 12 years ago, but some people, it takes them 2 years or 3 years or 10 years, but the point is that you finish it. And the first part is really remarkable, and there's a section on the actual lessons, and then there's a workbook that actually like it's a book for teachers, so it teaches you how to teach the Course in Miracles. But this is a lesson in grace, it's a lesson in humility, a lesson in compassion, and you will understand that we are all tied, we are all family. So when you squabble with someone, you grieve them or they grieve you, and you say, but they support that sports team, so I can heckle them, or they're this type of person, or those people and them, and all that like dismissive language that groups people that you prefer not to be around, or something like this. You understand that because we're all family, it hurts our maker. because it's like watching your children fight, and we are all his children. So really, but again, it uses very, very Christian language. It was given to a woman who was a Jewish atheist, and the Trinity is explained to her. So I want you, if it's possible, to look past that and understand the source, that the wisdom, the profound wisdom and power that this holds is just, it's available to everyone. Everybody has access to this, but the Course in Miracles is literally life changing. I wouldn't even call it a book. I would call it an experience. It's alive. It's a living, breathing lesson that you see unfold in your daily life. And I think it's the greatest thing that you can share. It's the greatest form of generosity to let people know that they can have peace. They don't have to be at odds with the world or with themselves. And you experience things as you're reading it. You start to feel electrified. I don't know about other people, but I started to feel like electrified. I couldn't do anything else. I was addicted. I had to stop myself to go carry about my earthly life because I was just like buzzing. I was buzzing with energy, and it's supernatural. It really is wonderful. You experience grace, forgiveness, revelation, atonement, just wonderful things. I can't speak enough about it. Which brings me to the fifth thing. And because the person had a religious background in question, pardon, I would include a religious text, whatever you're raised with. It doesn't matter. Sikhism, Jainism, Hinduism, I don't mind. I don't care personally. Um, Human beings have been around forever and ever. So there's going to be wisdom at the root of most things if you look hard enough, and if you're a true seeker, if you're really sincere. And when I say repent, repentance means a radical change of mind, okay? A drastic change of one's attitude. You leave your old self and you're willing to seek, you will find, okay? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, speaking of, this was gifted to me by a friend. Um, it is the Bible, okay? It's a NIV. Oh, you see, it's the prop of everything. A huge landslide of books just came upon me because I moved that. But look around. I don't care. I've read the Quran, read the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, the Torah, okay? I've flipped through everything. The difference is this: when we come to religion, I know a lot of people just stop listening and they're like, no, 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 don't, shove it down my throat, don't do this, don't do that, XYZ. Or they'll, here I have an English Standard Version. I have a couple of New Testaments. I have an NLT somewhere. Here we go. This is the first one I bought, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like a self-help book until I said to my friend, "This is so weird. It has all these little prompts in the beginning. You would think that they could like at least attach a Bible to it." And then one day I was on the subway, and I was like, "Let me just like read this book because I already bought it, and let me just see what it's." I don't give up easily, you know me. And so I literally flipped and I burst out laughing and I sent her a picture. I was like, "I'm such a doofus. I didn't even know what I was holding." It just made me laugh because it just had the page where, there you go. That's what I sent a picture of. I was cracking up. I was like, "Oh my God, it's actually in here. I didn't realize." But anyway, so you've got Bibles galore. Pick something. So this is the thing that you have to understand. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So it really doesn't make a difference. You can get into the Kabbalah, you can get into any type of something like Sufism, Islamic mysticism, anything. Okay, I am not here to start promoting people become divided, because some people who have received prophetic messages have even said, well, one thing God really doesn't care for is when we start nitpicking and saying like, well, you were raised Catholic and this person's Orthodox and it's the Greek Orthodox Church and this is different from this, and da, 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 da. Just soothe yourself. All right, there's profound wisdom in these things. There's a reason that some things stand the test of time and have been around for literal millennia. It's not an accident. And so, as Yeshua said, those who have ears, let them hear. Okay, so it's not literal, and Neville Goddard breaks this down so incredibly well. This isn't literal history, and I would say literalism really kills spirituality. you know um and historicity diminishes the power of people who gather to praise. All right, call it religion, a congregation, mass, I don't care what you call it. But truthfully, don't take it literally. You have to understand and decode these things. But the key to everything is going to be found in things that are ancient, regardless of what you believe, because Truth will stand the test of time. And if you know how to read it, you're set for life. So, again, taking things literally, for example, I was telling my friend, she has incredible results and experiences from fasting, but I've never fasted. I mean, when I was 25, 26, I did 13 fasts for one weekend each, and it was 13 months in a row. It was for health purposes, but one of the side effects I found was the next morning I would wake up at the before the sun, I would wake up at the crack of dawn and sit on the floor and meditate. And my awareness like just blew open, and it was an awesome thing. But she can fast, so she has incredible results. And so one thing I was saying to her, I really wish that I could fast, but I can't because of my health. But I'm gonna work up to it. I'm gonna be more sensible. I'm gonna like eat less. And the very next day, I happened upon a book. I drove up to my usual spot, like far away from Toronto, and I wandered into the store and I happened upon some wonderful spiritual material. And basically, it's a woman who's deeply, deeply Christian. And she said kind of the same thing like, well, how can I fast from food? I have to cook for my kids and I have a very busy life with dinner parties. She's like a very high society individual. And then she said that Jesus told her, fast with your lips. Like, it's not food that you don't have to put in. Sometimes it's the things you say that should come out. Don't curse, don't judge, don't criticize, don't scold, don't condemn. Mind your business, be about your father's business. So, whatever you use, I would implore you, if you're a faithful person, it's not what you believe. I would say it's how you believe it, how you study it, how you extract the meaning from it. And the way that you will know if it's right for you is by the way that it feels. If it feels unifying, that you're closer to yourself and you have more compassion, grace, and forgiveness and understanding for other people, even if they've hurt you, I would say you don't have to speak to them truthfully. I don't believe there is much to gain. Oftentimes they want to like drain you or something. So I would say that's fine. I'm not like the Bible says, be angry, but sin not. Be angry, but sin not. Okay. I have no business speaking to this individual. We're not even friends. They don't care for my well being, but I don't wish them badly. I just don't want them near me. I don't want them, interested in my life. You can delete their phone number. You can whatever, right? I don't know, unfollow them or whatever. And then just go about your business. But don't take it personally. So like Eckhart Tolle, see it all links, it all links. You're basically observing. You're observing what you're thinking, you're observing what makes you feel hurt. Or if it, in my instance, I'll tell you, I'm a very efficient individual. So any time that I spend not studying things that bring me joy and peace, like just understanding my maker, why I'm here, what I can do to share, what I believe, if it's beneficial to others, not to force them. Obviously, I'm asking a question, it's not unprompted. Then that's all I want to do. That's it. That's my greatest happiness. I never tire of this and I tire of just about everything else. So, that's what brings me joy, and that's what I like doing. And that's what I think. I think, oh, it makes me a better person. It makes me more calm. It makes me more understanding that when people hurt you, they do it from a place of hurt and a lack of maturity or a lack of discipline or something like this. So why would I take that personally? Because I would never do that to someone. So it's not like you're comparing yourself, but you're closing the gap. You're not allowing more pain to radiate into the world. You're stopping it. It ends with you. Okay, funnily said to my friend the other day, I was like, other people have like wonderful little spiritual nicknames, like, whatever, petal lotus or something, or, I don't know, like rainbow magic or unicorn yoga or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Something just came to me. I was like, if somebody was to ask me, what would you be then? What would be the image of you? I would be like, I'm the battle axe of God. Like I'm just like, oh no, this is not going to make anyone feel better. I'm not going to give it another second. I don't give any airtime. You really have to purify. So, to understand, to get closer, the first step is purification. I forget the name of the book now, but it is written by Thomas More. And I read it again in my mid 20s. I was about 24 years old. And he was a Christian monk for about 12 years. I have several of his books. And he explains the alchemical process, beginning with fire to purge, to burn away. So, when we want to get closer to ourselves, to understand, as you said, the universe, or to understand God, or what we're doing here, it's not so much what you're reaching for to look outside yourself, to put inside yourself. It's really a lot easier than that. It's about getting rid of what doesn't serve you. That's it. And I learned this in practice. I did a 1 year long program of pretty rigor. Well, it's I decided it should be rigorous internal training. And again, the first thing that's really explained is you have to become purified. You are the temple of the living God. Your body is a temple. So, and it's not just like in terms of food, it's, what comes out of your mouth is the overflow of really what is in your heart. So are you judging? Are you criticizing? Are you lying to people? Are you deceiving them for your own gain? Do you benefit from their anguish? Are you gossiping? Are you even swearing? So that was this thing this year for, I'm not Catholic, but for some reason, I don't know why, like little things sometimes get hooked into my consciousness. And I decided to participate in Lent. I failed every single year in my life. And I thought, I'm just gonna do it again. I don't know. I don't quit. I'm a little bit like deranged. Okay. So I was like, I'm not gonna swear. I'm not gonna swear. I don't want to do it. And there was a little bit of overlap with Ramadan. So I was like, I can't fast from food, but I'm gonna keep the streak going. So I had I had no added sugar. So like I could eat fruit, but I didn't whatever. I didn't like go and eat a chocolate bar or something. Okay. And then I was like, I really like how this feels. I'm going to watch my thoughts, but so vigilantly. And all of this to say, it worked. I feel a billion times better. I am truly a new person. And I'm going to do it again next year for something else. And the reason I mention all these things doesn't matter what you read. Another one I really like, I went into a store yesterday, little boutique, and the gentleman behind the counter was reading Napoleon Hill. He remembered me. I talked to him extensively. I went only like once last summer, and we were talking about Jyotish. And I said, "Is that Napoleon Hill?" And I have several Napoleon Hill books. And I said, "He's amazing, this and that. And he's a creative person." And I said, "You have to look up for your interests. What I would really suggest is you get How to Sell Your Way Through Life." And I know that Napoleon Hill is very well known for Think and Grow Rich. In my humble opinion, please read Conversations with the Devil. It's so much better. It's so much better because it makes you so much more aware of what you bring your awareness to and your thought process to, what you're actually investing a part of yourself into your daily life. And he has a chapter on drifter, like being a drifter. Like, do you follow trends? Do you want what everyone else wants? Like, are you walking through life, or are you being pulled and dragged? And I just think that's just universal, timeless piece of wisdom, that you should think for yourself, and that you should advocate for yourself, mediate for yourself, negotiate for yourself, and understand that you don't honor yourself and you don't honor God when you're just at the mercy of man-made things. So don't get me wrong, like you can go eat an ice cream and have fun, like you're good, but at the end of the day, like if you really want to live life to the fullest and be super super happy with your progress in the world, you should do it from your own lens. And in order to do that, as I mentioned, the fasting and the training and the purifying and all of that, clarifying, cleaning out your heart, cleaning out your mind, is that you can't actually achieve anything in life without discipline. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, especially like in the age of crypto. Everybody wants just like a get rich quick scheme. Meet someone online. It's easy. I don't have to ask you out. We can have a talking stage for 8 months, whatever that is. It's like, no, you can't have results without consistency. You really have to be vigilant. You have to apply yourself. So, whatever you choose to read, give it a sincere effort. And whatever method you choose to do, again, give it a sincere effort. But, and it's not like someone's going to be mad with you if you don't. It's that you just let yourself down. So those are my top 5 picks, and really very hard to do because I would add to that any Florence Scovel Shinn book, The Power of the Spoken Word. Watch what you say. It really has an effect on your consciousness, on how you move through life, how you reflect, okay, your essence. So I hope that answers it. And you will start to see the results almost immediately, because when you change your consciousness, your world changes. There's no alternative. It absolutely has to change. And I would also say be really open minded. You don't serve yourself when you're like a tight fist. You can't receive, and that includes knowledge and information. So I would honestly say, for example, I mentioned, okay, the Bible, I would say include everything. Okay, so the standard Bible that we use here in the West is 66 books. I would I have a bit of, even before I was like super, I was always super spiritual, but even before I knew what I know now, many, many, many years ago, I'm definitely gonna age myself, letting you know, I there was an exhibit here with for the Dead Sea Scrolls at the Royal Ontario Museum, and I thought it was like someone like stuck a fish hook in my heart, and I had to go see, like I had to go like learn about them and everything. But I would honestly include everything, include all the apocryphal books. Why not? What do you have to lose? So in that, I would include my personal favorite is the Gospel of Thomas. There's, it's it's so amazing. I have 3, 4 books here on Mary Magdalene's gospel, the Gospel of Philip. I wouldn't leave anything out. Read it all. And then if you want to go even deeper, listen to so also I have a one other thing, Alan Cohen, A Course in Miracles Made Easy. I like the Course in Miracles just as it is, but this is really helpful if you struggle. Like, sometimes I have found the difference is a book is not hard to read. This is not hard to read. This is really, really easy to read. Okay. But sometimes people see the volume of information and they start to think that it's difficult when it's not. So if you need something like that, that's totally fine. There's study guides for just about every holy book in the world that kind of breaks it down and guides you. You can get one of those. But this is my piece of advice. Whatever you choose, go deeper. Don't stop at anything surface level. Don't stop at anything man made. Just keep diving. So, for example, we're going to stick with Christianity. Um, what did Jesus believe? How was he educated? He belonged to the Essenes. What were they like? John the Baptist was an incredibly masterful person. What does his apocryphal book say? You know? So go deep. Find out how these people lived, what they believed. A really good resource is Lars Muhl. He's very, very knowledgeable about those things. I mean, there's so many people. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I'm trying to keep it to 30 minutes. Ugh, it was supposed to be like 12, but I get too excited and I have to share. But honestly, you can't go wrong. I really believe what I've experienced. I'm only speaking from experience. If you seek sincerely, you will find that. I don't know if it's the law of the universe or if God just has a plan for everyone's life. I don't know what it is, but I've always questioned everything, not in a critical, snarky way that I want to debate you. Like, I just want to know. You can't hurt my feelings. I really want to know, and I've been rejected and I've been accepted, and people have definitely tried to recruit me into their beliefs, but I'm like possessed by the idea of God and like why we're here, and what everyone thinks and wants to say and know. So I can truly say from my experience, I have always found answers. Always, but I always dare to ask. I dare to believe. I move in faith, take the first step, take the plunge, be bold, and if you don't know who to talk to, you can always message me. I'm no expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm just an expert on myself, which is what we should all strive to do. But figure it out. Figure it out. Don't take anything literally. Don't take anything personally. And you will know the truth by the way that it makes you feel. It shouldn't make you feel frightened. It shouldn't make you feel judged. It should make you feel, oh, like eureka. And I know sometimes people have experiences and they feel incredible euphoria and they cry with joy. My signpost has always been a feeling of relief. Anytime I hear something that I know for a fact is true, I can't deny it. I receive messages in my dreams about it. When I like it confirms it, I get so much confirmation. I feel a sense of relief, like, peace washes over me instead of like crying for joy, which does happen rarely, but I usually just feel that way. So you'll start to notice patterns in yourself and how the world really and how life speaks to you. And life will, I think, when you make a decision and you're determined and you decide, I want to know this, this, this. I want to know myself. I want to know God. I want to get closer. I want to get stronger. I want to be better. Life will respond to you. Truly, life will respond to you. So your job is to respond to life as well. So pick something, explore it, and go. And actually, there was a little bit about astrology, excuse me, in there as well. And this will not apply to most people, but it will apply to some. And there is a combination that you can have in your birth chart that actually, if you are a seeker, it is recommended that you stick to the traditions that you were born into. That's all I can really tell you. When you see it, you know it. If you know nakshatras, you'll know it in a split second. If you know your houses, you will know it instantly. So you will know that if whatever you're seeking, methods, this, that, the other, honestly, if you have this, figure out if someone in your lineage was ever religious and go and explore. Like, just floodgates of wisdom will burst open. And then another thing I've had the last few clients message me about was in regards to prayer. I can make a video on prayer. I have a prayer book where again, how I came across this book and the sticker was gifted to me. I mean, the whole thing was just like a beautiful demonstration, but it's a very good exercise. And I do have a here, it's a very well loved, a very well used copy I've had for a really long time, Marianne Williamson's Illuminata, A Return to Prayer. Prayer is so powerful. We can make a separate video about that. But I would say this is one of the ways that you put what you've learned into action. That's it. Okay. It's like getting a gym membership and never going. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. You have to put it into action. You have to put your faith into action. As Book of James says, faith without works is dead. So we must work on it. Okay. We have to try. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this answers your question. And I will be back. I will actually share publicly the best part of the Faith is Your Fortune and how Neville Goddard breaks down victory. Victories in my mind today. I'm feeling of sound mind. I'm feeling brave. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that as soon as it's ready for you this week. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the start of summer. I love you and bye for now.